Welcome to the Brothers Sinatra podcast, the only podcast featuring two swinging brothers talking about One Piece. I'm Jack Sinatra.
And I'm Tyler Sinatra.
And we're the Brothers Sinatra. That's right. Get your cursed swords and your massive syringes ready. And can someone please explain to me what the hell is a log pose? Today, we're going to talk about One Piece Season 2, Episodes 1 and 2, Tyler.
It's a compass, Jackie. A log pose is a kind of compass in the One Piece
Listen, you don't want to spoil
Jackie.
it yet. We're not even to the spoiler section, and you're spoiling the log pose.
You asked me to do it just now.
You
just said
it was
somebody
just part of
explained
the
to me.
intro. It was, it's just me being a little fresh, getting us ready to pop into the whole One Piece thing. All right? So everyone
people
forget
hate it
what
when
he
you're
just
fresh.
said. For all they know, a log pose is just, planking or some sort of, stiffening. You just sit there like a log,
Remember planking?
Oh.
That was a whole...
That was
before.
That was like memes before memes. It's like, remember that was that whole South Park episode where they went through the different memes that aren't really how we discuss memes today? Good times.
Yeah.
Maybe shows our age a little bit. But in any case, we got to go through these socials.
No, I'm definitely Gen Z.
You are not. You like to
Shut
think
up,
you are
Jackie.
because you're a real Riz king.
Don't say Riz on the podcast.
King of the Rizzlers. That's what you want to be.
No. Stop.
All right.
Stop.
Tyler, we got to get to the socials. Listen, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube. Are there any other socials I'm forgetting? Just follow us on them.
Just go there.
We're
Find
the Brothers
them.
Sinatra. We sing songs.
If you don't know what social media
we do
is
these
yet,
podcasts.
figure it out.
We started off doing various things. We're almost exclusively doing One Piece at this point. Someday, we're going to veer off course. We're going to be doing other stuff. You got to keep on it because you're not going to realize. And you got to follow the pod, too, on Spotify, on Apple, on Amazon, however you get your podcasts.
Anywhere you find the podcast.
Just click the button where you follow or you get the notifications. All right?
Yeah, sometimes there's like a bell if you're on like YouTube. Sometimes it asks you to subscribe. Hit those two. You could do that. You can do all those. It's free.
And if you don't want to go to these individual sites, go to veryentertaining.biz. And you can get to all of the different places just by clicking buttons. So if you just like point and click, you click to get there.
You
go
get
to
there.
veryentertaining.biz. You can
that's
click
our
your way
website.
to all of them. Okay?
Yeah, because we're a business.
Yeah. That's
A
why we got the
regular
.biz.
business.
All right?
That's why we got the .biz.
Had to pay a little extra for the .biz.
A little extra.
But it was worth it, I think.
People are frightened of the .biz, I think.
Yeah.
But, we'll figure it out.
Yeah, we're a real website. Not a lot of people know that. They think on our videos that we're AI. Well, when they go to our website, they think we're trying to scam them, Because when you see twobrothers.sinatra@veryentertaining.biz sending you an email, you read halfway and then you're like, oh, this doesn't look legitimate at all.
You get a double take. You're like, oh,
yeah.
Where? No, that's probably not real.
Well, look,
I'm putting that in the
we're not
spam
trying
folder.
to take anything from you except a little bit of your time to talk about One Piece and maybe sometimes to sing and swing a few songs, if you see us in public.
Some of the old, Great American Songbook, if you've heard of it.
Yeah. So today, we're going down that One Piece trail. We're doing Two Brothers, One Piece. Here we go, Tyler. Let's do a quick reminder of our One Piece backgrounds.
Okay. I've seen way too much One Piece content to describe to somebody. So much that I forget some things about it. I like to say that I've learned more about One Piece than Jackie will ever know.
And that's very true because I have seen a handful of the anime episodes. I basically saw the first 3 or 4 a long time ago. And then every now and then I walk in on my wife, watching various episodes that could be from anywhere in the series. So I have a cursory knowledge of various characters. There are a handful of characters who I know haven't shown up yet, but I know that, they're in One Piece. I also live on the internet sometimes, and it's really difficult not to encounter spoilers. So I really try to shield myself, but I can only do so much, okay? So I'm not going to lie to you. There's some stuff that hasn't been revealed in this live action. There's little teases that don't get past me just because I exist in a world where information is constantly coming at me. But other than that, I've just seen these 2 seasons of the live action One Piece, Tyler.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did you want Jackie to stay off the internet? Did you want him to stay off the internet completely? sorry, there's a fervor around One Piece and people
Yep.
like it.
People like it.
So,
People like to talk about it. People like to
talk
complain
about
about
it.
various casting decisions. People like to talk about. Apparently, there's this new remake of One Piece, Tyler, that's coming out. A lot of
Yeah, the
people are
Wit
talking about
Studio
that.
production.
The Wit
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Studios.
yeah. It's going to be called The One Piece.
Yeah.
Or
The
The
big
One
change.
Piece.
Yeah, they're putting a
Big
"the" in front
change.
of it.
Putting a The.
And they're
Well,
going
they're
to
also
take
going to
out
be
a lot of the
using.
extraneous BS from what I hear. They're going to streamline it. They're going to make it
Yeah,
look better. And
yeah.
it might be a nice place to jump on if you're like me and you're about, 5,000 episodes behind. You maybe just jump on the Wit Studios when that comes out.
Yeah, and that's the same studio that brought you your Attack on Titan, your Spy Family. So they have a pretty good pedigree. They're a good studio. It's going to be a good product, folks. You should
Yeah.
definitely check it out when it airs.
When is that coming out, Tyler?
I honestly, there's not like a date for it yet. It's still in production.
Well, no
But
doubt.
it's coming.
When it does come, we'll be on top of it. Okay.
Oh, we're gonna be there, and I'm gonna watch all of it probably multiple times.
Sure. And listen, there's been some people commenting on our various, YouTube videos and all of this stuff, saying that we should maybe get into the anime at some point, maybe get into some of the manga. And, we'll see what happens. We still got a lot to do on this live action. And listen, every time we post about the live action, there's about 5 people that are like, oh, the anime's better. It's like, yeah, but you know what's better about this live action? That it's, maybe 8 hours of your life and you can talk about it instead of,
about it.
writing a blank check for all my spare time that I don't have to watch all of these other episodes, okay?
And frankly, folks, I have seen all of the episodes of the anime and I have read the manga. I would have to go back and then reread it all.
Yeah.
And then Jackie would have to do it all for the first time.
Yep.
I gotta tell you, I'd be happy to do it.
Oh, Tyler, I think it's going to
a-
happen. All right. If people keep on listening to these podcasts, and I'll tell you, this One Piece stuff is really popping, Tyler. So if it
it's the
continues
most
to
poppin'.
pop, we might be pushed over the edge. We might go for it. But it
Can
depends
somebody
on the
explain
people
to
out
us
there.
why the One Piece stuff, particularly with us, is working? We don't know, but we're gonna keep doing it. I love One Piece.
What'll really get it going is if it finally outpaces our people we meet on vacation pod, which is still for some reason a top performing of all of them. But these One Piece ones are stacking up wins. There's now 4 in the top 5 about the One Piece, Tyler. But we digress.
Jackie, that's some good numbers.
Good numbers. And let's
I don't
get into
think
some
anyone
more
wants
good
to hear
numbers,
about
Tyler.
it.
We're going to get into some Sinatra stats. So we foregoed the Sinatra stats last week when we did kind of a cursory overview of the entire season. Today, we're locking in on episodes 1 and 2. We're going to do these special examinations of these different arcs. Today is a little bit different. We're kind of combining 2 arcs because each episode kind of has its own distinct story. So we're going to do episodes 1 and 2 of One Piece live action season 2. And this season, if you didn't know, is called One Piece Into the Grand Line. So you can call it season 2. The people at Netflix call it One Piece Into the Grand Line. Okay.
I'm gonna call it season 2.
Yeah, me too for the most part, but I just wanted to note that, okay? So
We're noting it.
Episodes 1
Consider
and
it
2.
noted.
These episodes are a solid hour. When you open it up, it's like an hour and 7 minutes, but I got to be honest with you, that last 10 minutes or so of each is just going through all of the various, voice casts for, the many myriad languages that this is translated into. So the credits account for quite a significant piece of all of this. They might also have a next time on. To be honest with you, I didn't watch through. So if there's any Easter eggs, didn't see them. All right? So
Jackie.
maybe we got to go back and see that. Were there Easter eggs in the credits, Tyler?
No.
All right.
No.
Well, there you go. This is rated TV-14 for violence, suicide, language, and smoking. So I'm a little bit bummed that I don't see, something that implies there will be a bum on the screen. So there's no nudity this time. Last time, you got that nudity in the rating, but that was just for Helmeppo's butt, turns out. Okay.
But that was all we needed, folks. That's
It was all
you
we needed, but apparently we don't get that. Of course, we got the violence. I mean, the suicide piece, that's something that will come later, not in these 2 episodes. Lots of language, actually, in this first episode. And smoking, I mean, we'll get to it, but yeah.
Oh,
a
yeah.
lot. A lot of
A
smoking.
lot of it.
Matt Owens.
Almost too much.
So the showrunners, in the first season, it was Matt Owens and Steven Maeda. Maeda is gone. Now taking his place is Joe Trax. I'm going to call him. I don't know if that's how you pronounce it, but Tracz. One of those Czech kind of situations possibly. So I don't know. Write to us if you know how to say that. But he's the new showrunner stepping in for Steven Maeda with Matt Owens, who, as Tyler has said many times, he's like the guy who's a big fan of One Piece.
I would say somebody who I would consider the lifeblood of these first 2 seasons,
Yeah.
and I think he may be absent for the 3rd.
Yeah, maybe a little burnout. Okay.
Yeah, I don't
but
blame
also
him.
Oda he's the creator of One Piece. He's stepping in from time to time to do some consulting on how to approach things.
Oh, he is involved. He has
yeah.
his hands all in the business.
Yeah. So if they're doing something weird, he's like, hey, maybe don't do it like that. Do it like this.
Yeah, don't do that.
Yeah. So let's go over a bit of the high-level cast. We got a lot of returning people that we saw in Season 1. So we got Iñaki Godoy as Monkey D. Luffy. We got Emily Rudd as Nami. Makenyu as Roronoa Zoro. Jacob Gibson as Usopp. Taz Skylar as Sanji. And then we got some new folks here. All right? Without kind of spoiling situations, we got Charitra Chandran, who is also in Bridgerton and various other properties, kind of a rising star, okay? And we'll talk about her when she comes up. I'm not even going to talk about who she's playing.
Don't say the names.
I will not say the names.
Don't say the names.
And then everything else I've got written down here. Okay, we got Lyra Abova, who, this isn't really a spoiler because it's the very first scene in the season, but she plays a Baroque Works agent who can grow, many arms and really go at people. We'll get, again, to more of that. We got Callum Kerr, who is teased in Season 1, and he plays Captain Smoker, okay? So he was teased at the very end of Season 1. I feel like that's not really a spoiler. And then we got Julia Raywald, who plays his kind of sidekick. And again, we're going to go and we're going to talk about all these people a lot more.
We're going to have to talk about them.
The featuring section, is there anyone that you want to call out specifically before we kind of get into it? For me, not really. I think maybe we can just bring the other featured players, but there's a host of Baroque Works people in this season. That's a big focus of everything is, these different assassins that come in. There's some returning folks, and some of the people that were more heavily featured in Season 1 have more of a guest role in this Season 2.
For sure, for sure.
Of
the
course,
Marines.
Yeah, a lot of the Marines and, there's just various people who played a big part. They might get a single mention or maybe, they just pop up for an episode or two here.
Few lines.
The platform is Netflix, of course. So this is Netflix's, thing. You can find it on the front page. It's very easy to find. It was released just a couple weeks ago on March 10th, 2026, about 2.5 years after the first one. And there's a host of reasons for that we've talked about before. But there was the whole SAG-AFTRA strike.
The strike, yeah.
Yeah, there was a bunch of stuff, a lot of reasons. But at this point, they seem to be really rolling. I believe Season 3 is already filmed, so in all likelihood, Season 3 comes out, I want to say next summer is what I saw. So the pace that they want to go at is about a year. It's going to take a little over a year to get to the next one. But these are 8, in total, pretty jam-packed hours of television. There's a lot going on. Of course, if you're an anime follower, there's a lot that they had to cut out. There's various things that they, can't get to.
They changed.
Yeah. But the budget on all of these episodes in Season 2 has gone up a little bit. I think there was a pretty heavy increase in some of the CGI, and we'll talk about that in later episodes, maybe not so much in this one. But I have to say, that just from a very basic level, they do a really good job of mixing the practical and the computer generated elements. And
For sure.
I
Yeah.
think this is a good looking show. I think if you're going to nitpick on the CGI, you're really, grasping at straws because it can be done so much worse, You're acting
Oh,
like
yeah.
Shocknado was never a thing, if you're complaining about how it
Don't
looks.
don't talk about Sharknado right
You
now. We
think they
could get
could
into
put a
a whole mess.
Shocknado into, One
Yeah.
Piece? I think they
Yeah, I
should.
bet they could.
Maybe a
They could do
crossover,
it.
you know?
I don't I don't like the idea of a crossover, but I would do it.
Now, the Rotten Tomatoes on this is really high. I think it's one of those things, though, a lot of times in these types of TV shows, there's a lot of reviews for the first season and then it kind of slows down. So it's hard to tell, how much weight to really put on this. But for season 2 alone, not accounting for season 1, there's a 100%. So that means 100% of critic reviews were positive, but that's only 26 reviews, okay, that are on the Rotten Tomatoes site on season 2 specifically. And the audience score of season 2 is the exact same as season 1, which is 95%. So if you aggregate scores across season 1 and season 2, that's a 93% critic score, 95% audience score. All of that to say, that's very good. That's very positive.
Those are good scores, folks. Those are good scores for a Netflix adaptation of an anime. Great scores.
Yeah. And the location is in Cape Town, South Africa, which we've talked about. So it's almost exclusively filmed there, whether it's on studio or, on site down there. So a lot of the Loguetown stuff, I believe, happens in Cape Town itself. A lot of the look and feel of the environs is all, lending itself to that area of South Africa. And there's a lot of actors, that pop in that are just South African actors that, a lot of us in the United States, or if you're in another part of the world, there's a lot of these people you're probably seeing for the first time. You look up, who are they? Where do they come from? A lot of these actors are coming from right in that area. And, I don't have any hard figures on this, but I did see that the viewership somewhat declined a small amount from season 1 to season 2. So there's a lot of people that are worried that this is not going to get, the 12 seasons that they were talking about. We'll just have to see how it progresses. Season 3 is a sure thing. It just depends on if this is a steady downward, slope. But it also depends on, what is that number that it's going down. It's still hundreds of millions of people tuning in to watch this stuff. So,
and I think we also have to take into account the numbers like overseas versus the United States. We have a different taste in things, and I think our general public doesn't watch these things as much, but the credits are an extra 10 minutes because it's in a bunch of different languages, Jackie, and I think that's where the bread and butter is, really. I think it transcends it goes to all different places. The story fits in all different kinds of cultures, and I feel like everybody's going to watch it, and it's not just going to be determined by the feelings of the Americans.
yeah.
So,
And we'll see what happens, but, we are definitely getting another season or 2, and unless it really tanks, I can't see it not continuing for a bunch more. So, we'll see. But for now, we got 8 really fantastic, fully fleshed episodes to talk about. It wasn't a perfect journey, when you go into the Grand Line, there's going to be some bumps along the way, and we'll talk about all that. But to do that, we're going to have to get to our spoiler section. So this is the spoilers, Tyler.
It's spoiling.
We're
I'm
crossing
spoiled.
the red line. All right, we're getting into the spoilers. We're going up,
Get there.
and then we're going down into the spoiler section. All right?
Okay. Well, you better spoil it.
Well, we're going to do the Sinatra summaries, and I want to change it up. I'm going to have you do yours first because you're always...
Okay.
I always do mine, and then you're always, well, I could do it so much better. Here's a way shorter version. I want you to do your stupid short version first, and then I'll go.
Okay, Jackie.
See how you like that?
The Straw Hat crew continues their journey, stopping at one final island before scaling Reverse Mountain to sail into the Grand Line. but their first obstacle is enormous and definitely needs a flashback.
Now, isn't that true? The one thing, though, and we'll get to it, very different from the flashbacks we got in season 1. Fewer child actors, okay?
Oh, yeah.
And in
No,
fact, the only problematic child actor, and I don't know whether I'll address this later. Hopefully, I'll think of it again. But there was only one child actor moment where I was like, you just can't get away from these child actors and having, these just these moments that kind of pull you out of it. But luckily, it was very short, but it was not in the flashback. Anyhow, folks, let's get to the fully fleshed out Sinatra summary. So here is the beginning and the
Are you
end.
talking about the ice cream girl?
Absolutely, I am, Tyler. We don't need to talk about it yet, but yes.
Okay.
The beginning and the end, episode 1. Pre-execution in Loguetown, Gold Roger tells Gaup he has a secret son and asks Gaup to raise him. In the current day, Miss All Sunday, Mr. Five, and Miss Valentine of the Baroque Works Assassin Organization massacre the ill-prepared Marines in an axe-handless Shellstown while trying to track down Zorro for killing Mr. Seven in Season 1. In Loguetown, the Straw Hats arrive to restock on food and supplies. Zorro meets sword nerd Tashigi at a shop and obtains 2 new named swords free of charge. And meanwhile, Luffy tries to find Roger's execution platform before getting captured by Buggy and a newly trim and superpowered Alvida. Shirtless, hard-ass Captain Smoker and his revealed Lieutenant Tashigi watch as Buggy attempts to kill Luffy Gold Roger style before he is saved by a Deus Ex Machina lightning strike that explodes Buggy and destroys the famous platform. Smoker tries to capture Luffy, but is whisked away by the mysterious dragon. And they make their escape. The Straw Hats venture to the Reverse Mountain and take their first step toward the Grand Line. Episode 2, Good Whale Hunting. Hey, nice wordplay. The Straw Hats voyage up the treacherous Reverse Mountain. And on the way down, meet Laboon, a giant scarred whale slamming his head against the rocks, who swallows the Going Merry. Well, everyone except Luffy, who winds up on the seaside cliffs. Here, Luffy meets Lighthouse Keeper and whale caretaker Crocus. Crocus tells Luffy about the musical Rumbar pirates who left Laboon with Crocus 50 years ago. Meanwhile, Garp sends Smoker on Baroque Works duty to uncover the identity of their leader, Mr. Zero. And Tashigi ends up, coming with, having been convinced by a little Kobe cameo. Inside Laboon, the Straw Hats meet and capture Mr. Nine and Miss Wednesday before escaping, after which Luffy sings to the whale. It reminds the whale of his friends, and basically back inside the whale, or no, we're outside the whale now. Everyone gets free. That's the point. And now we're at a navigational impasse because regular compasses don't work. So luckily, Crocus gives Nami a log pose, which is a compass that points to one of 7 nearby islands because the magnetic fields are just different in the Grand Line. Okay, don't worry about it. And that's the key to really getting there. Luffy paints his Jolly Roger onto Laboon's head because that's what friends do. And Crocus talks to his photo of Gold Roger that Luffy didn't see, saying, hey, this Luffy guy might be the one to find the One Piece. And then the crew, goes off to further adventures, but that is where we're going in episode 1 and episode 2. Okay? So we got the Loguetown piece, and then we got Belly of a Whale, Laboon, Pinocchio, all that stuff going on in episode 2.
Oh, yeah, Jackie, that was definitely worth the wait. That was definitely... it's funny. I went and priced the One Piece Legos and decided I think I want the Gum Gum Fruit set. I think that would be a good one. It's only
I like that.
$69.99.
How many sets have they got? Are they on sale right now?
They're on sale right now, yeah.
Oh.
You can buy them. They had ones that came out for the first season, and I think the second season just released a bunch of them. I don't know how many
are they
there
handling
are in
Captain
total.
Smoker? Do they have him just like chain smoking cigars in
I don't
toy
think
format?
there's a Smoker one.
Boo. I'm sorry,
No,
Danes. The Danish people have to just just do it. Just put out the smoke of Lego. It's not that hard. Okay.
They used to have fun weapons and sort of not anymore.
There were ninja Legos with sharp swords. Those were dangerous.
Yeah.
All right. It's okay to have Legos, violent towards each other. They're just toys. It's fine. It's not a
Settle
big deal.
down. It's just a toy.
All right, let's get into this stuff, Tyler. So we're going to do the good, the bad, and the brothers. That means we're going top 5, bottom 5, where we do the demerits, and then we're going to talk about all the fights. To be honest with you, there were only about 5 fights that we could go through.
I was going to say there's only 5, and we're going to see how we rank them.
Kind of go through all the steps. There was one that I could have shoehorned into a fight, and I'll talk about that as an honorable mention. But let's just get to nothing but the best. So this is where we're going through our 5 best parts, 5 best things. It's kind of loose, Tyler. Well,
it's loose.
We loosened it up. It's just like 5 things where it pinged in your mind. Hey,
notable.
I like this. This was good. This is a +1, as we say. Okay. So
okay, Jackie.
We're gonna start at number 5, and why don't you go first with your number 5?
Yeah. My number 5. And I'm going to talk about this a little bit later in a different section, but the scene work is really good, what I call the Straw Hats in the Whale. There's a bunch of great lines. You broke the ship with your big muscles. That's not a compliment. The perilous. I gotta search
some nice
the perilous
just dialogue
ships.
writing. Some nice zingers in these couple
good
episodes.
back and forth between the Straw Hats, Sans Luffy. So it's a girl whale. Great line.
I also
the haunted
like
perilous Rex.
Yeah.
Great line. Oh, it's just a good dynamic. That is like.
There's another one. Sanji says, "Did you know that ghosts of shipwrecks are the most vengeful?" And Usopp's like,
that's
"Where
so
did you
funny.
hear that? Was it in a book? Was it well researched?"
Yeah, it's so, and it's just some well-written lines in a scene that those don't really exist in the anime. That not in that way, and I'll talk more about it later. But I thought that scene was a really good way to introduce sort of their dynamic with one another back. We're in episode 2 of like the first couple episodes of the new season. Let's see how all of these characters are acting with one another.
Yeah, some nice
really
kind of
it.
inter-crew, relationships. So in the first season, we were kind of building the team. So it started, you had to get Luffy and Zoro, and then you had, Luffy, Zoro, Nami, and Kobe was kind of in the mix. So you had like a chance to kind of build it up. Here, you're just kind of thrown into it where everybody's there. So even from the very beginning, when the Straw Hats are going to Loguetown, you got Sanji and Usopp, and Sanji's making food, and Usopp's stealing his pepper, and it's like, they have. So there's all these different dynamics that are at play. And, Sanji
and then he
is
serves Nami the squid, and Nami's like, it doesn't taste too peppery. Oh, it's so good.
And then that comes back later, which we can get to in the fight section. But yeah, I think that's a good one. So number 5 for you is kind of just the interplay of the crew, especially in the whale.
Yeah, specifically the whale stuff.
And let me know if you have this one higher. My number 5 is the sword shop. Do you have that higher anywhere?
It is. It's my number 2.
Okay, so we'll talk about that when we get to number 2. My number 4, and let me know if you have this higher, is the Rumbar Pirates flashback.
My Rumbar flashback is 4, Jackie. It is
okay,
number
perfect.
4.
Well, let's talk about that then. So you got this kind of starts where, we meet Crocus, who, the first time we see him, he's shooting Laboon, who we don't know his name is Laboon. We just know it's a big whale with scars, just ate the crew, slamming his head on the rocks, and we see Crocus, an old man with a flower thing on his head, shooting him with a giant syringe, no real explanation, and then he kind of crustily walks back into his chamber, and he apparently, so this is one thing, and I can't remember, let me see if I have this later. Not really, somewhat. I don't want to talk too much about Crocus right now and his behavior, but basically, we learn a little bit about Crocus, and then he storms into his chamber because he's the lighthouse keeper, and then Luffy breaks down the door, and eventually, they get to talking, and about halfway through the episode or so, that's when his flashback is initiated. And so it's about 50 years ago. I think it's funny that they make no attempt to de-age to de-age Crocus
at all.
He just has black hair. He just has dyed hair. So I'm wondering in my head, like, is Crocus like 150 years old and he was like 65
No.
or something?
No, he was like he's supposed to be in his 20s in the flashback.
So yeah, I mean he's just an old guy with black hair, but that's fine. It didn't bug me too much. But you meet the Rumbar Pirates, a Roombar or Rumbar?
Rumbar.
Okay. So they're all singing. When we first meet them, they're all singing.
They're a jolly group of people.
Binks's Brew, I think, is the name of the song. And,
Yeah.
You just know that they're going to get cooked when they get to the Grand Line. I mean, immediately.
They're too happy.
It's just, it's, at least they have this little moment where they're thrilled about their journey. I do wonder, though, they, I would assume, also had to go up the reverse mountain. So I just wonder, it seemed like it was really hard for the Straw Hats. I wonder why,
it's hard for everybody,
just a better
Jackie.
job. Yeah, but they had like so many people. It didn't seem like they lost anybody. Everything seemed to be in functioning order. They also had their whale with them. Like, did he help? Maybe. Who knows? There probably weren't as many wrecks 50 years ago, so I guess that helps, that there's just less debris maybe around. But we meet everybody. There's a little tease. Basically, we have this unnamed violin player that, is obviously someone who's going to come back.
Yeah,
at some
he's
point.
an unnamed violin player that no one knows who it is.
And that's another one of those things. And again, we don't need to peel back too much just in case there are some people who are literally watching the live action, don't know anything about the anime. But the way they focus on this guy, that, he is, aside from the captain, who I believe I said last week, he's like a kind of Mickey Rourke meets, I don't remember what I said, but he's kind of, got Mickey Rourke vibes going on.
Yeah, he does.
For the captain. And so he,
but like
is
Mickey Rourke, the wrestler vibes.
Yeah, Mickey Rourke, the wrestler. He also, to be honest with you, if you told me that was the same actor as the Bartolomeo guy, I'd kind of believe you. They got similar vibes going on, aside from the teeth and the green hair.
Very,
take that away.
But they're both very smiley, and they're both sort of like.
Yeah, there's a lot of people wearing coats and no shirt.
Yeah,
it's like
I am not complaining.
No. I mean, that's one of my kind of bonus things that isn't one of my, it's not one of my 5 best, but I just wrote down here, everyone is hot in this season. There's like just a lot of heat coming off the screen from both sides, okay? The women, the men. I mean, there's just a lot going on. There's a lot of abdominal muscles. There's a lot of...
honorable mention, everyone's hot.
Literally, I just have a note that says, everyone is hot. But it didn't make my numbers, okay? Anything else to say? What else do you have to say about the Rumbar Pirates? And cute Laboon, by the way. The cute whale.
Laboon.
Cute Laboon is
Cute
the
whale.
best. I mean, when you see that, it's like, oh, man. There's a lot. You can split hairs about the different ways that various things are handled and the way that Laboon handles himself from time. But it's like, I would do anything for that little whale.
Oh, same, Jackie.
Yeah.
I think you hit on pretty much everything that I would have said, but the main thing is I am the violinist who shall remain nameless.
Yep, not named.
If ever that gentleman were to return for some reason.
Unlikely.
Oh, the voice.
Yeah.
Beautiful voice.
And I didn't even, telling on myself, I didn't really do this level of research, but is that definitely the actor's voice, that the singing voice?
Oh, I don't know. See, that's what I don't know. I don't know if it's his actual singing. I hope it is.
I hope so too. Because to be honest with you, the violin technique was sketchy. So I'm hoping
nobody ever plays the
that
instruments for
real. Yeah, that's kind of one of my nitpicks that didn't make my it didn't make my demerits per se, but that was one thing I noticed is
the reason it didn't make my demerits is because, again, if he ever comes back, he's never going to have to actually learn how to play.
There you go.
Because Never mind. It doesn't make a difference.
Doesn't
There's
matter.
no way that. Yeah. Anyway.
Okay, so the Rumbar Pirate flashback.
Yeah, Rumbar Pirates.
Finally, a
it's
good
number 4.
flashback because, to be honest with you, Tyler, that was one of our biggest demerits of season 1. Was the flashbacks kind of sucked energy out of everything, and they had some bad child actor moments.
Yeah, where did they find that giant whale child actor?
Yeah, finally, the best child acting
Finally.
in the entire series, as far as I'm concerned. Cute Laboon. All right. Let's go to number 3. Tyler, what is your number 3?
My number 3 is Miss All Sunday's hallway entrance.
Okay, Miss All Sunday hallway entrance. So basically, Act 1,
It's like
Scene 1.
Yeah.
The whole thing cold open, essentially.
It brings you right in.
Yeah.
I think it shows her off so well. You find out later she's Baroque Works, but you find out how ruthless somebody can be.
Yeah, I mean, all you see in the beginning is you're in Shellstown, which that's where, in the first season, we meet Axehand Morgan and Helmeppo, and that's kind of where our guy Kobe joins up with the Marines. So we've got a small connection to Shellstown, and we just really see the Marines getting it handed to them left and right.
Oh.
Not only from Miss All Sunday, but also this is where we meet Mr.
5. Oh,
Isn't it?
5, sorry.
Yeah, Mr. 5.
It's 5, yeah.
A lot of numbers, okay, in these
A lot of
Baroque
numbers
works.
to remember.
A lot of numbers to go by. So there's 5, and then there's Valentine, Miss Valentine. And we see Valentine basically put a high-heeled shoe right into the skull of a Marine on the ground. I mean, it gets pretty brutal.
Ooh.
And then all Sunday, she's like, oh, you all have so many arms. And then arms start coming out of them, and it's like, oh, nice word.
Terrifying.
Yeah.
Terrifying.
It's not good when someone brutally, murders you right after doing a nice little bit of wordplay. That's probably the worst way to go.
It's the worst way to go.
And I got to tell you, and this is something that might come up later in part of my demerits, but yeah, there's some just not great moments from the Marines here. Not a good showing from our guys in the Marines. The old teal and blue or whatever, however you would describe what's going on with their hat.
Semi-professional baseball caps.
I do like how they're being so faithful to just having random English words and stuff from time to time.
Oh, yeah.
It's
amazing. Yeah, there's the...
Okay, so Miss
fun.
All Sunday's entrance, and we find, this is someone with a power that we haven't seen before, able to...
And it totally obliterates everybody in the room, and you're like, wow, the power scaling in this season is completely different. They had a whole fight with 3 people, and this one person just did one of these, and
force to be reckoned with. We also obviously see 5 and Valentine. We don't really understand their powers at this point, but we know that they're all forces to be reckoned with. They tore up this Marine base like it was nothing, and they don't take any prisoners. They also, at that point, go and see Seven's, top half of his body.
Half body.
And they're like, huh.
We need at least a 3.5. Oh,
that was a good one.
That's not funny.
I did like that shot where they're like in the morgue, the 3 of them, and you just get that shot like as if you were the body, kind of looking up at all of them.
And then all 3 over, yeah.
Yeah. Let me see.
What's your number 3, Jackie?
My number 3 is the introduction of Miss Wednesday. Okay. So when we're in Laboon, and obviously right before this, we have Sanji and Usopp encountering this gentleman wearing a crown and, 2 aluminum baseball bats. And later, like 5 minutes later, we find out that he's Mr. 9 from Baroque Works. And when we meet Miss Wednesday, basically we get this little hint when we meet Mr. 9. He's like, we are going to take your ship or something like that. So we know that there's other people in there. And basically Wednesday pops up and accosts Nami right when Zoro kind of leaves to go work on his massive sword, I think, that's going to solve all their problems.
Yeah, because...
Which is also just a great moment where...
Big sword.
It's like, you're not just going to make a big sword, are you? No.
Absolutely not.
Yeah, no.
that would be ridiculous.
So Miss Wednesday comes in. She gets a nice kind of, I think I don't remember exactly, but I think she like jumps up on the railing. It's like, oh, here's someone new with blue hair. A nice fit going on, and she's got these. How do we describe these? They're almost like yo-yo
I have
lockets.
yo-yo blades.
Yeah, yo-yo blades, the semi-hot shape, not quite hearts, but they're, you could wear them as
Teardrops.
jewelry and you would believe that they're just normal, but they look quite razor sharp. And this is one thing because Miss Wednesday, obviously, when we see her and we learn she's with Baroque Works, she has this kind of sinister affect for the most part, and she's kind of, when you find that Nami doesn't know what a log pose is, and she's like, "Oh, are you kidding me? Like this is kind of like amateur hour right here." So she's kind of giving it to him, but then she also helps the crew save Usopp when he's about to fall from fixing the sail or whatever he's doing up on the mast. So yeah, just the introduction of Miss Wednesday. I really think that, especially in this episode where she's playing more of that heel type persuasion, but then there's that added layer of do we really understand their intentions? I just think that it's a great new character to add to the mix, and maybe adds just a little bit of something that is not already in the cast right now. So just a good introduction. She also went really hard on Nami. I mean, she could have really drawn blood against Nami, which even made me more confused when she tries to, helps him to save
No, she
Usopp.
wins the fight for sure.
She gets there, but then it just so happens that Sanji and Usopp walk in with 9 in tow, and they're like, "Hey, we got the drop on you now." And that's the only reason really.
Who's dropping who? Wednesday. That's a different Netflix property.
And then I like when they're
Never mind.
both tied up. 9 and Wednesday are tied up, and Zoro's like, "Huh, really overconfident? Stupid costumes or whatever." It's like, must be Baroque Works.
Yeah, he knows exactly who it is.
So that was my number 3
And
this Wednesday.
I also thought it was funny when he's like, "I met one of you, Mr. 7." And you don't know yet, but the numbers do sort of like the closer you get to 1 is like your power level. So when 9 he beat 7, it's like, oh no. I just think that's so funny. We don't. I also have that in my fight section, so
yeah, we can talk more about that.
Yeah, we'll talk more about it later.
So did you already do your 3?
Yeah, my 3 was the hallway.
Okay. Yep. All right. Number 2. What's your number 2?
This is the Kitetsu, the scene with the sword.
Okay, so that was my number
shop.
5, just the whole sword shop situation.
Yeah.
So it starts
The
out...
reason it's my number 2 is probably because of like manga and anime bias, because this scene is like it is like constantly talked about. It is a definitive Zoro like proving himself scene, and I think they just do it such justice.
Yeah,
and
in a pretty short amount of time too. Like you probably get about
it's a really
5 to 7 minutes in the sword shop.
Yeah, they do a really good job with it.
So it starts out where you kind of have this street encounter between Zoro and Tashigi, and at this point, Tashigi kind of just looks like a tourist. You have no idea. I mean, if you're me and you haven't seen anything and you don't know who this is, you're just thinking, oh, this is some nerdy girl. She's a sword nerd. Zoro kind of bumps into her and she's like, "Do you know where you're going?" He's like, "Yeah, I know exactly where I'm going. This way." And so, she ends up following him, though, because she notices the Wado Ichimonji. Yeah. I always think I'm going to say it wrong.
He gets all flustered because Tashigi looks like Kuina.
That's the first thing he says is like,
and I'm going to add in a surprise section, Jackie.
Surprise section?
It's what I like to call Confession Corner. Jackie, it's what I call Confession Corner. A couple episodes ago, I was called out on my knowledge of One Piece by a one Aman Shah Project 21 on YouTube. And rightly so, because I said in the anime and the manga, it explicitly says that Kuina commits suicide. Now, that isn't true. What it says in the manga is that she fell down a flight of stairs.
Mm.
An accident happened. Oh, what happened? She fell down a flight of stairs, reaching for a whetstone to sharpen her sword. Now,
It was a real whetstone, Tyler. That's why she slipped.
it was real wet. That's why she slipped. And I would be wrong to say that it is explicit in saying that she did commit suicide. However, my first reading, my first watch, multiple different readings, as an adult, I still think that that's what the character, the father of Kuina, saying to Zoro, her best friend, I think that that's what he was conveying while lying. In the same way that you would lie to a child about their hamster dying. Oh, it ran away. I'm not saying that is a turn of phrase or any sort of thing, but that was my interpretation the entire time. I do have to say this, though. Aman Shah Project 21, he is correct, because there's an entire fandom, like section of the fandom, that not only believes that she's alive, but believes that she's coming back later and isn't Kuina anything, but like is a completely separate character. That she's still alive and she was like sent off to study a sword and also maybe interact with a character that we'll meet later down the line. So I was wrong to say that. And the Aman Shah Project 21, I appreciate it, but it does hurt me to say that I said something incorrect. It hurts me.
There's a lot of Reddit conversations about this very topic.
Lots of conversation.
It's it's something that I think it's okay to have an opinion on. We don't need to.
I have a very strong opinion about it.
Specific answer about it right now. But I think
But it is wrong for me to say that the text explicitly says something that it didn't say, because it doesn't say that.
It's still up for a degree of interpretation,
up for debate.
I think.
But my interpretation of it, however, remains what I said before. Okay?
Sure.
But we're going to move on.
Yeah.
I'm on Shah
because
Project
there's a lot more to
21.
talk about with the sword shop. So once we finally get into the sword shop and Tashigi's following in tow of Zoro, there's this attempted scam, basically, by the sword shop owner. He immediately clocks the Wado Ichimonji, and he's like, oh, maybe this guy doesn't, understand the value of what he's carrying. Now, we know that Zoro's never going to give it up, even if he didn't think it was worth a lot, because, it means so much to him personally. But he's
it could be worthless, and he would hold on to it for the rest of his life.
He takes a look at it, the shop owner, and he's like, yeah, it's not worth much, but 200,000 berry. And he's doing that thing. He keeps going up.
And in a previous scene, Nami had explained haggling to him, and he doesn't know what it is. And then the guy keeps giving him higher numbers, and he's like, is this haggling?
And then Tashigi comes in and kind of ruins this whole thing because she, says, oh my God, it's a Wado Ichimonji. It's crazy. And then the guy's like, I can't do it anymore.
I can't pull the wool over this gentleman's eyes any
But basically,
longer.
Zoro, he got his two other swords shattered in season 1 by a guy, Mihawk, and he needs new ones. That's why he's there. And so we go on a little, search. Tashigi's kind of helping him. And the first blade that draws his eye is the Kitetsu sword, right?
Sanjai Kitetsu.
A curse. It's got a curse associated with it where it's like, even great swordsmen, they all die when they have this sword. You're going to die if you get the sword. Don't get the sword, or you're definitely going to die right now. Don't try to throw it up. Don't throw it. It's just going to cut your arm off. It's just going to cause a big problem for you. So why would you even try? Because it's cursed. All right? And then Zoro's like, well, maybe my will is stronger than this sword curse.
And it is. And it is stronger, Jackie.
It is.
It is stronger.
It would be funny if he slightly moved his arm when it was coming down,
Yeah, it's like, ah! He's like, no.
Let's see if my reflexes are stronger than this sword. I also noticed,
but that's the definitive cool guy moment where he's just like holding his arm. And I gotta say, for Makenu too, a lot of in season 1, he got a lot of comments about how he was sort of stoic most of the time. And I think he's supposed to be. I think he did a good job
Yeah.
in season 1. And I think he did an even better job in season 2, sort of opening up the character.
I agree.
After the sword hits the ground, he gives the smirk. He has the eyebrow raised. It's like a little bit cheeky. He's like, I already knew that was going to happen.
I think in general, yeah, the characterization of Zorro, I think, grew a lot in season 2.
Yeah.
From
Really
not only
great.
from that standpoint, he has those goofy moments with like uvula. Oh, it's a girl whale. Like these little things. And I also like how I think he put on several pounds of muscle between season 1 and season 2. The first time
Jackie,
you see him on the
all
ship,
of them did.
sure, but I mean
All
with
of them
him,
did.
I think it's the most apparent, especially when he's
Yeah.
crushing the weights,
Lifting the weights
on the
in
deck
the ship,
of the Going
yeah.
Mary.
It's even more apparent later on when we get to the cold seas.
Oh yeah, but we won't go there yet.
We're not there yet.
We're not there yet.
Next episodes.
The sword
Well, 2
shop.
episodes.
So he gets the Katetsu blade, and it's like basically you can have that because no one's gonna buy the cursed sword anyway. And then the sword shop owner, it's like game knows game, and he's like, wait a minute, I gotta go get something. And then it jumps to another scene, but when it comes back to the sword shop, he basically brings out this other blade that also has a name. It's like one of 50 in the world, and it's a family
Skillful
blade
swords.
or something.
It's called the Yubashiri, Jackie.
There you go. So
Yeah.
So now he's got 3 blades with names. The other 2 that he had in season 1, I guess those were just like regular swords.
Unnamed swords.
Yeah. And if they don't have names, they're just going to shatter. When you encounter a real sword with a name. So when it's got a name, it's going to do a little better maybe next time he gets someone like Dracula Mihawk coming back. Okay. Anything else from the sword shop? I did think it was kind of funny when he threw the sword up and it went into the planks. It's like, that's a nice hardwood floor.
Yeah,
like,
you just wrecked his floor. Yeah, at least got to pay for that part.
Refinish the floor. The guy didn't even.
I just want to give a shout out. What I don't know his. I wish I knew the actor's name.
I
should have. Yeah.
The gentleman behind the counter.
Behind the counter, yeah.
Yeah, he's been in so many little things that I've seen over the years. The last thing, I said this last week, but I saw him in Presumed Innocent. He played a doctor.
Yeah, he's honestly so good. It's like his little pick in the ear, like doing all these like little idiosyncrasies. I can't say that word. But yeah, you know what I mean. It's so good. His performance is idiosyncrasy. I can't say it, Jackie. I'm not even going to try.
It's not a secret, Tyler.
I can't say it when I'm doing
It's okay. You're doing as well as I was doing with Roronoa Zoro the other week.
Roronoa Zoro. Yeah, I can't do that either.
This is a great podcast idea where we just try to say words.
Say words? That would be really good.
Next week on the podcast, we just open up the dictionary. Say words.
Idiosyncratic.
You can do that one. Yeah, there you go.
Well, it's because I had to do it in my normal voice. Okay.
All right. Number 2. For me, Smoker's entrance. I mean, a lot of Smoker. I just like Smoker coming in. It's just kind of over the top, toxic masculinity energy.
Smoker's my number 1. Smoker's my number 1.
So I mean, so the number 2 is the short chop. Yeah, we can talk about it. Yeah. So Smoker, the first time you see him, he's coming in on an amphibious motorcycle. Okay. Yeah. Rolling up, dragging a guy who I believe is Koze of the Yes Pirates.
Yep.
What I would say to Koze is, no, you did not. Because
I'd say, Nose.
Smoker comes in, riding the motorcycle through the water, gets on the land, immediately starts barking orders and says, what are you standing around for? And he also, within like 2 seconds, is like, no pirate escapes me. And then he's he's taking a drag off of 2 cigars at a time. He's got his bandolier of other cigars. He's flashing abs. He doesn't own a shirt, Tyler.
He's the most badass Marine captain there's ever been, Jackie.
He's got platinum
It's Captain
blonde
Smoker.
hair, and he just, what is not to like? It's like Dolph Lundgren just came out of the sea on a motorcycle and started smoking 2 cigars at once. So I don't know what else to say about this guy, but it's just kind of the amount of heat that he was putting on the screen, per minute. Whenever he was on, there was just something. He was like so aggressively like focused, and so like everything was so serious.
Yeah.
Anytime he was
That's
saying
how he
anything.
kind of is in the anime too. He's like singularly focused. He's like, there's nobody getting out of here.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, he
And he's got, he's just broadly got this American thing going on, but I think the actor is Australian.
Yeah.
So it's just it's kind of a funny choice because you got various characters like Gaup. He's not hiding the fact that he's got a Scottish accent. So it's kind of funny when they decide that a character, to change the accent of the actor and when not. I don't know how deliberate
I didn't even really
or whatever.
think about that when you did. I mean, I think he's trying to do sort of a Batman kind of, like the low American vigilante
It's
sort
like
of
a little bit
thing.
gravelly. Yeah.
Yeah. But like, it works so well, and he's such a badass the whole time, and it's like, when we get to the part where he starts fighting, it's like, oh, no wonder he's such a badass. You literally can't hit him.
You really can't. You can't get a lick on him, and I mean, there's. We'll talk more about the fight in the next section, but yeah, especially in these 2 episodes, I think it's important to highlight Smoker because he, goes away for a lot of the rest of the season. He's just kind of hanging out in the background. You pop in every now and then, but especially in this first episode and a little bit in the second, it's just, it's a good time hanging out with our guy,
It's a smoke
Smoker.
show, Jackie.
A smoke show. And I think I like the little relationship that they got with Smoker and Tashigi. So when you learn that she is kind of his subordinate, they got a nice little buddy cop situation, odd couple. I also like when he's talking to her at and I believe this is in the second episode, where she talks to Kobe and is like, all of a sudden she like knows that she wants to follow her own path and so she wants to go with Smoker, and then Smoker's like, fine, you can come, but don't do a little dance.
And then she's already doing the dance.
And she's also like standing on a step so that they're almost the same height, but she's like significantly shorter. I like that.
Yeah. I think that was really well framed, and the stage direction was really, they had her sitting on a stair. The moment she stands up, she is like at his level. And if she chose to step back on the stair behind her, she'd be taller, but she puts herself on the same level. It's really well done. That scene's very fun. I also like Smoker and Tashigi's sort of, because he is sort of a hard ass. You see him, he's like, I give no leniency to anybody around me. And even though I know you're going to talk about it in your demerits, the scene with the little girl,
I don't think it gets into my demerits, to be honest with you. So we can talk about it.
The little girl is whatever. Child actors are child actors.
But Smoker, where he's
Smoker
like, sorry, I
is
think
where
my
it's like,
pants ate
sorry,
your
pants ate your ice cream, and
Yeah.
then he gives her money, and he's like, but get more scoops next time. It's like, so this man is the hard ass Marine, but
yeah, that showed a little
he's
soft side
good.
to Smoker, and that was important, I think, because if they didn't do that, you wouldn't. It would be so abrasive and so like, oh, this guy is just really hard.
I also think it sets you up because in the first season, Kobe and Luffy have a discussion. And it's like, well, if there are good and bad pirates, there must be good and bad Marines. And in the last season, you meet a bad Marine, Nizumi or whatever his name is, the rat guy. And I think because Smoker comes on so strong, you could initially think, oh, this guy's awful. There's no redeeming quality. He's probably bad, and I don't like him.
Right.
And that scene sort of gives you like
Yeah.
So he's not evil. He's just an adversary
Yeah.
to Luffy. And that's like an interesting way that they play with villains or enemies in this series. It's like sometimes the person who is set up against our protagonist isn't evil or isn't
Right.
bad. It's just that they don't want Luffy to succeed.
Yeah, and I think that's why it's
It's-
interesting the
and-
way that they played it in the end of season 1 when they teased Smoker. If you don't know what's going on, and I absolutely didn't, I assumed that Smoker was going to be the main villain, the main heavy of season 2 by the way that they kind of teased him at the end. So that was kind of a funny little, oh, maybe he's not so bad because, you know, he's nice to this little girl with the ice cream. However, the little girl, okay, what does she say back to him? She's like, thank you, Captain Smoker.
Oh, gee, thanks, mister. I think
That's what
she
it is,
says.
yeah. She's like, gee, thanks, mister. It's like, you had one line, you had one job, and it was just like the most, like, I don't know how to explain, but it's, yeah, she really, unfortunately, ruined it for the child actors.
Canned. It sounded like
It really did.
somebody had said, gee, thanks, mister, in a 1950s movie, and they just sort of like,
Gee, thanks, mister. I'm off to sell my newspapers now.
I do. I know exactly what you mean. But I do like that scene just because it does give Smoker a little bit
positive.
of depth.
That's why it didn't. It wasn't so big that it made it to my demerits, but I am glad that we got to talk about it. Okay.
What's your number one, Jackie?
My number one, and this is right on brand for me, Tyler. It'll be no surprise. It's the return of Buggy the Clown. Okay.
Of course it's Buggy.
So we got Luffy wandering Loguetown. He got separated from Sanji. They're walking through this carnival atmosphere. And if you see a carnival atmosphere, you know what's coming. Okay. So Luffy walks to the execution platform, and all of a sudden, I don't know if you noticed, but in the sound mixing, the sound totally drops out, like when he's like 5 feet outside of, and he's looking up at the execution platform. He's got Bartolomeo, who's planning on robbing Luffy, and he's got his butterfly knife that he's working up. You know, he's going to do all these knife skills, apparently. And then, out of nowhere, Luffy's hat goes out. All right? What happened?
My hat.
Oh, turns
What
out
happened?
it's a disembodied hand. And when you see body parts flying around doing stuff, you know it's Buggy, okay? So Buggy's back, and the first thing he says is, "Miss me, dickbag?" And I'm like, oh, we are so bad.
And Jackie said, yeah, I did. I missed you.
I really did. I was talking at the screen. Yes, I did miss you.
I did miss you.
I'm glad you're back, though. And then we get a nice, oh, it's Bunny. You know, so
But yeah,
he can never
he
remember
never says
his
his name right. Yeah.
And then we got Buggy takes the knife from Bartolomeo, does some sick knife skills, butterfly knife style. When he's talking to Bartolomeo, he assumes that he's a member of Luffy's crew, and he's like, "What are you, the ship's stylist? I'm not even mad. Maybe you should join us."
Come join us. And they're wearing like almost identical clothes at the time. It's like they're both wearing striped jackets with like fur.
He's got some nice, you're like a shit moth to a shit flame. And then when Luffy misnames him, when Alvida comes in, he's like,
"You've met her
you
once.
Remember? You met her one time." So just again, I enjoy every minute of time that Buggy's on screen. I also enjoyed him as the lawyer in the trial.
Oh yeah,
You're
like a terrible lawyer.
Everything is a little over the top. And I just love, I think it's Jeff Ward that does Buggy.
Yeah, it's Jeff Ward. Yeah.
So it's just a lot of fun whenever he's around. You also, that kind of ties into, he gets Luffy up on the platform, and Luffy has his own kind of parallel Gold Roger type situation. One thing I'll give Luffy over Gold Roger was kind of muttering under his breath, and everyone, could hear him. And people online have told me, this is why. Okay. Show it to me in the narrative, and then I'll start to understand.
Hey,
but at least Luffy was projecting a little bit more. Like Luffy was shouting, and it was kind of echoing, so it was a little bit more, believable to me.
If you're gonna correct us, bring receipts. like at Aman Shah Project
Yeah,
21.
exactly.
Bring receipts.
But then what I
That
did like
person's
about
right.
that as well is that at that point, Buggy was like, loud. So it's like,
Yeah.
so I like that. That moment to me was a little bit more self-aware and just produced in a way where I'm
Yeah.
not questioning it as much as the OG Gold Roger stuff. Okay, so that was our Nothing But the Best, 1 through 5. I got a couple of honorable mentions I just want to go through quick. So the Kobe and Helmeppo Battleship game. That was fun.
Oh yeah, that looked. Yeah,
I
I
wanted
want
to play that. Yeah.
I want
Just
to play
like,
it.
Does that,
I'd
it just looked
I'd
like
shoot my
something
little
that
balls at you.
I could imagine that
Like
the crew
Helmeppo
was
did.
having a lot of fun, just, between takes, doing a little game. It just looked like a riot. I already said the one, Everyone is Hot. Even the people from
Everyone's hot.
season 1, they've gotten a little bit more hot. Okay? A lot of people working
More
out.
hot.
The new castings, hot people. Okay?
Hot people.
I don't know what to say. You got the split screen edits that I really
Oh
liked.
yeah, look like comic panels.
Yeah, you really noticed it. There was one with Garp and Smoker where they were talking back and forth. There's also one right at the beginning where Luffy's about
All
to say
four
the
of
whole
them.
King of the Pirates thing, and everyone is like finishing it for him. They're like, "We get it.
Yeah.
You're gonna be King of the Pirates, yeah." And then the reverse mountain sequence, I think was really well done. So
Yeah,
just, the peril
it makes
of
you
going
feel
up.
magical. Yeah, it's
Had
like
real Splash
whoa.
Mountain vibes, when you get to the top, and it's like, I think it was kind of funny that everyone was so calm and peaceful. Like they got to the top and they're like, "Oh, the hot part's over." And to me, I'm like,
Yeah, doesn't that seem like
that
it'd be
makes
the
no
easy
sense
one?
at all. Going up, you'd think it'd be kind of like a rather, a little slower than going down, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So, whale or not, even if there's not a whale on the other end,
Whale or not?
I mean, you're
yeah,
coming out hot.
You're gonna going into the water, steaming.
Do you have anything else to mention before we get to demerits?
No, I'm
All right.
I'm in demerit mode now, Jackie.
Demerit mode. Let's go. Number 5 for you.
Number 5, Usopp didn't get enough stuff.
Usopp didn't get enough stuff.
Usopp didn't get enough stuff.
Okay.
There's like, and I actually have this as a separate demerit for like another thing later on. But there are things that happen in Loguetown that you could have given Usopp something. You could have given
Usopp
him
was just
something.
kind of with Nami in Loguetown.
Yeah, and like that's
He had a
like
nice
kind
fight
of
moment.
there's like a nice fight moment, but he has like an entire arc to himself in Loguetown with a character called Daddy Masterson, and it is alluded to while they're shopping. Do you know when he goes to get the goggles and there's a little girl in the background wearing the goggles that he's already wearing? Her father is like a bounty hunter, and they have like a shootout sort of thing.
Yeah.
And it
You know why they didn't include that, Tyler? Because it's
'Cause
too
it
close
would've
to
taken
Danny
too long?
Masterson.
Oh.
No one wants to
Yeah,
think about that.
yeah, no one wants to do that anymore.
Yeah. But Daddy Masterson is a
Canceled.
hilarious name. Daddy Masterson.
Daddy Masterson? Yeah, Daddy.
Why not Master Daddyson?
I don't know. It was like a Billy the Kid kind of deal.
Yeah,
Jackie.
I mean,
it was like
clearly with all of these little things, they have to pick and choose what's the most important. So
I
it's
know, but I feel like everyone else had like
yeah,
like even Nami, who is sick for half of the season,
Yep.
has like a bit of solo, like
a little bit. I
development.
think hers. I think
And-
they, as a pair,
but-
their thing was the weakest.
Yeah, I was
Sanji's
like,
also. Sanji's was a little bit pulled back.
and his stuff
you know?
almost got some of his stuff almost got cut too. Like
Yeah.
in the later episodes, it's yeah, I understand, and I've made this like I know that we have to cut things. We have to do certain. I think Usopp deserved a little bit more representation in this season for his character development. That is my first demerit
Okay.
in number 5.
That's your first demerit. Yeah, they also gave him the moment where he was leaving a message to Kaya. Now, I don't know if this is a good place to do a breakout about the snail technology, but it just seems like all the technology is snails, Tyler.
All the teletechnology,
It's not only
snails.
the teletechnology, Tyler. It's also like the slide projector and
Yeah, like a anything that is like television visual, like anything that could be a digital visual medium or like it's
it didn't
all
seem
snails.
digital though, Tyler, because it had like
Okay,
film grain on it when they were watching the video, the slideshow at a Baroque Works, and it was all in black and white. Are they
I
cameras too?
understand.
Do they have regular
Yeah.
cameras? The snails are cameras.
Oh wait, I don't think the snails are cameras.
Why not? Why not just have the snails, record video, do the cameras,
I
do social media reels? Why not just have them make the maps? Why is everybody still making their own maps if we've got snails that can take pictures, Tyler? Can't we take a picture of these places in the world and agree on a map? Why does Nami have to make her own map when you got all this snail technology?
Well, so they can be video cameras.
See, if they can be video cameras, why are we still splitting hairs over people with different maps?
I don't know.
You can't have it
There's a
both
lot of
ways.
stuff going on with the transponder snails, Jackie. I
Well,
think
clearly they're
this
not
is a
just
whole.
transponder snails. You got,
That's what they're called.
but there's also slide projector
call-
snail.
Yeah,
There's
they would be called like a
answering
video
machine snail.
They would be a video transponder snail. It would be an answering transponder snail. They're just called transponder snails.
I'm going to
That's
need
not
it.
my fault. I didn't write.
I'm not
Don't
saying
get
it's your
mad at
fault.
me.
You're just who's in front of me. So I'm angry at you right now. I just need somebody in the comments to leave a dissertation on what the hell is going on with these snails and where does the line end with what they're able to do, because part of me is amazed and, that's great. But also, the Marines have this technology apparently to get through the calm belt. It's like, are the snails doing that? Like, the snails are just in on all this high-tech business, Tyler, and I think it's a racket.
It may be a racket, Jackie, but you know what? Sometimes civilizations have technology and then they lose a bunch of technology and then
Yeah.
they gain it
And
all
I have
back
to
again and we
apologize
don't
because
know
that's
why.
not even one of my demerits. I just really got heated about that. So,
Okay, then what was one of your demerits?
are you done with your number 5?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So, number 5 for me was Nami not knowing about the log pose. And generally, I would say I do not think it's Emily Rudd, but I do think that generally Nami a little bit weaker in season 2 than season 1. I think it's the writing, a bit of it. I think that in season 1, Nami was our kind of all-star. She kind of won the season. So since she kind of had that whole arc where she was, with the team, then she went away from the team, then she got back with the team. Now she's like one of the people that is kind of in this, the big thing in these 2 episodes with Nami was her ability as a navigator. And it's just I don't know, there's not as much kind of at stake, I guess, with the Nami character. She has a few moments that are nice and whatever. She has the coy thing with Bartolomeo. But again, it's like you got all these books on navigation. You know everything there is to know about navigation. How does she not know about the log pose? How is this the best kept secret
she
in
doesn't
the world?
have. Okay, so this is something that I can answer. All of the seas are separate. So, like, remember how they had to get the map to the Grand Line?
Yeah.
She's never had access to information about the Grand Line
All
in
right.
the way that she's had access
Now,
to the
this
information
is where you
about
have
the
to
East
tell
Blue.
me. The transponder snails, are they able to communicate between the seas?
Oh, yes.
Then what is going on and why is this information not available?
Small towns and islands, Jackie. This is the other thing. Not everybody can make it to the Grand Line. And there are like kingdoms in the East Blue that are powerful and whatnot. But generally, people are dispersed. This planet that you're on is way bigger than Earth. That's another thing. This is something that's not like, I don't even, you would have seen multiple maps in the manga by this time of how sort of big the world is. And not everybody has transponder snails. Like an entire town might have one transponder snail, like one of the poor islands like that Luffy came from, they might have like one. Nami's island might not have any at all because they're just not. It's
yeah. But my point
later
is,
we get into like
snail to
class
snail,
systems and
write it
stuff.
down, get a book.
I understand what you're saying. Suspend your disbelief for just a moment. She was a child. You also gotta consider that all of these characters are like 16.
Yeah.
Like in the story.
You know, I assume that she could have jumped on like a snail Wikipedia of some sort and just gotten that information. Because these snails.
Yeah, just hop on the internet. How do
I? We don't need to talk about that anymore.
I've never seen the anime, and I can't go on the internet without catching a spoiler.
I think for Nami being one of the better characters, I think she was, on the bottom rung in these first two episodes. There were just about every other character in the crew, maybe with the exception of Usopp, had more interesting things to do. And that's not, again, it's not Emily Rudd's fault. I think it's probably just where she's at currently, circumstantial. Some of the writing, I feel like some of the writing with her was a little, it's just a little like, happy,
it's not as strong as it was.
I don't even know what I'm trying to say, but I want Nami to be interesting, and so when I feel like Nami's not interesting, I am asking questions. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, I got a number 4 for you, Jackie.
Number 4.
They don't. The hooded cloak gentleman. I mean, I know his name. At the end of Loguetown.
They talk about.
Do they say his? Do they say his name?
Yeah, they say Dragon.
Okay.
Yeah,
they say Dragon. Okay.
And I believe they also talk about how he's part of the Revolutionary Army.
Okay.
Yeah, leader.
So,
whatever.
I have a problem with the way, and this is another thing coming from somebody who's like has prior knowledge of this I think that the scene with him was very cool, and like for viewers seeing it the first time. Awesome. It seems really cool that he's like a Morpheus sort of like, oh, he stopped him. But like in the anime and the manga, I'm going to use the word explicit even though it got me in trouble the last time. It was in this, I feel like it was not trying to hide that character has a power. Or like, it's like, oh, this guy also has a devil fruit power. In the manga and the anime, it's sort of like I could since we're talking about these two episodes and we've already spoiled it. At the end, a bunch of wind blows and he get Smoker him gets swooped up after Smoker has Luffy on the ground, and he gets just like pulled away, and you're like, well. And before, it was like, in the manga, it's like, they're just gone.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, there's no wind to have pushed them away or to, like, make a visual thing. In the manga, there's a storm going on, or the anime, there's a storm going on the whole time. Like, when the lightning strikes the buggy and all that stuff, the storm is still going on. So there is, like, some kind... The wind that's happening at the time, there's swirling wind that's happening, and you see, and it takes different frames of things going around, but then they are just gone. Yeah, it's not like you see them get pulled away by the wind, and it's like, guys, I know that we are putting in a little bits of information and little Easter eggs for people who know more about the story. That's too much. It's too much. Because I didn't think... I was in the camp of Dragon not having a devil fruit for years. And to have an entire group of people just be like, he's got to have some sort of
like he's
wind,
obviously very
thing.
high-powered because he just comes in... Luffy is just losing badly to Smoker,
Yeah.
and then all of a sudden Dragon comes in and whisks Smoker away. So your thought is, even if you're not thinking along the Devil Fruit lines, your thought
Right.
is this guy is like
It's
ultra
something,
powerful, way more powerful than Smoker.
or the first time I'm like, oh, it could be like some sort of other like marine sect that has not necessarily physical power over Smoker, but is like, I'm a different part of the government and I'm telling you right now to stop. But you didn't know all of that at the time. And it's like the mystery part of Dragon, I feel like you're losing it. And that's like one of the
Yeah.
coolest parts of the whole thing.
Well, I hope so, Tyler. I hope that it's cool because I have to say, as somebody who doesn't know anything about the anime, and this guy, I don't think that Dragon really comes back in the rest of the season. So this is just like a little, peppering of this in here.
It's a taste.
And I really hope that he has some cool stuff coming because I wrote down some of his lines. And I kind of just want somebody to observe my own life and say stuff like this as I go about my day. But he's like, who are we to stand in the way of another man's voyage? The world is still waiting for our answer. And then as he sees Luffy and the crew, ship off, he's like, a pirate, hey? That's fine if that's what you have chosen. Go forth. And it's like, okay, who are you talking to? And so I'm hoping that we have some fun, cool stuff coming up with our guy Dragon.
Well,
because
the mystery is cool. I'm not telling you that anything Dragon ever does is cool.
Oh no. Okay. I still have high hopes. I hope that it edges towards the Morpheus vibes, and maybe just. I would. Part of me does just want like a running commentary of
the
Dragon
scene,
looking at various things that are happening though.
So if you really like scenes of Dragon just looking out into the ocean, I gotta tell you, you are gonna be pleased with the rest of what you see. But like where we are now in the manga, it is gonna come to a T, and we are gonna see what he's gonna do, but we still don't know.
Oh, that's great.
Why I think it's so annoying. It's like, the people who are reading the manga still are like, maybe it's this, maybe it's that, maybe it's this, and it's like, are you gonna just give it away in the live action for some? It could the thing is, it could still be a lot of different things, but it definitely narrows the search down to what his devil fruit power could be.
So that's enough on Dragon because we're still going to probably talk about him a little bit in the fight section.
And we're Dragon. This podcast is Dragon.
Whenever we get to the Demerits, Tyler, it gets a little rough, especially that whole snail tangent. All right. My number 4.
It's not even part of it.
My number 4, I'm just lumping together a lot of stuff that happened with the Marines. So number 1, I mean, right off the jump, you got the Marines that are in Shellstown. Obviously, the unfortunate lady Marine that takes the shoe to the head, the high-heeled shoe. Unfortunate. Not really her fault, though. But then you got the Marines that are huddled up, awaiting the imminent, entrance of Miss All Sunday, and the lead Marine is like, "We will absolutely hold this line." And it's 30 seconds later, he's getting shot, by his own guy, basically, and
that wasn't
with a
very
helping
nice
hand from Miss All Sunday. So, they did not cover themselves in glory in Shellstown. In Loguetown, when you got Buggy and Alvida and this carnival is kind of happening because it's the 22nd anniversary of the execution of Gold Roger. You would think that there would just be a higher level of security at public events. The Marines weren't around at this carnival at all. There was no immediate response from the Marines. What were they doing, and how did this whole? Because I understand that Smoker arrives at a later point, and he's like, "Oh, the pirates are fighting. Let's just hold it back." But the Marines should have been there already. They should have just had security. Period. So that was a little strange to me that the pirates are just running free in this, supposedly the biggest Marine base, ever. And there's no Marine presence at this very public, square where the center of the celebration is. What are you doing, Marines?
Yeah. They're just celebrating too. They're allowed to celebrate too.
And another thing is the uniform policy. Only the Marines that we don't know their names have to wear the stupid uniform with the hat, apparently. And, other than that, Tashigi's just kind of run around in normal clothes until she, puts on...
Well, she's a higher rank.
So you can do that, apparently, if you're higher rank, shirt optional, that's fine. Garp seems
You also
to
get
wear his uniform.
A sweet little jacket when you're really high up there. You get the Admiral's coat.
Yeah, and then you wear a little dog hat from time to time if you want. A
I
nice
love the
little
dog
unexplained dog hat.
Honestly, that would be a really good... If we were ever getting into, cosplay, Jackie, we would make really good Marines.
Oh, yeah, that's the most obvious costume you'd go to. It's just the best, two random Marines wearing the stupid hat.
Yeah.
So the uniform policy, and then the last thing I've got in the Marines is, I don't know a lot about the military, Tyler, but a lot of it is about, chain of command. Your superiors give orders, and then the people underneath are supposed to follow the orders. However, apparently in the Marines, how you really get it cooking and how you really show your worth is by following your own code and doing it your own way.
Yeah.
So it's to really get ahead in the Marines, you gotta, not take orders. And we see this from Smoker. We see this from Kobe, Helmeppo, Tashigi, and they're all, and it's... And the thing is, Garp kind of tells everybody to do it as well.
It's people
just
like
a strange
Garp.
Thing.
It's people like Garp. People like... I feel like the Marines who are sharp on both sides, they normally have their own sense of justice. That's what I would say.
Yeah,
and they're allowed to.
Sure.
And they should.
That's fine, but I'm just saying, that's not how actual military organizations are run. No,
it's not. Well, I mean,
let's not go there. All right,
okay.
What's your number 3?
My number 3 is that Alvida one-shots Luffy in their fight. So
number 3 for me is also Alvida stuff, so we can just have it out about Alvida.
Yeah,
Alvida.
Yeah. It's I like Alvida. There's a lot of fun things. Their fight in the anime is a lot more drawn out. There's gags that happen that lead to, But in this, Luffy does his gum rifle punch, and he slips right off because she ate the slip fruit.
Yep.
And she takes her... Well, she slides around for a little bit all around him, grabs a
slip
mace
tracks.
And then smacks Luffy one time in the face, and it's bing, bang, boom. They got him in sea stone cuffs. And I'm okay. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Luffy literally in the first episode of the first season...
That's a good point.
...tanked one of her... Now, I gotta say, there could be another explanation for why she got hit.
Was it a sea stone
mace? Why she was
mace?
able to hit... No, it's her, because... That's a whole nother thing, too. It couldn't be a fully sea stone mace because then she wouldn't be able to carry it. There could be a sea stone tip at the end of the mace, but, she couldn't touch the sea stone. And it's just there's another... People on the internet are going to say a word that starts with H at me, but I don't want to say it in front of Jackie because it doesn't matter. The point is, if that's the explanation... Fine, but give some sort of indication to us that there's a power-up happening. Don't just be oh, devil fruit, that's the only explanation. There's no other training that went on. We're not even going to give a moment of some sort of aura that goes around the club so she can hit him and have it be significantly different than it being before to have it affect him in the way that it did to get him in handcuffs.
Yeah.
That was my number 3. I think it's... And again, it's cutting the fights for time. We're cutting her fight.
Sure.
But, yeah, give us something.
So mine, the first thing I just wrote down was Alvida. That was the first demerit that I wrote down because it's nothing against the actor. I think that just the way that Alvita was approached, period, in the show, from a casting, directing, and production standpoint, was not approached right. I think they should have cast two different people. And I have said this opinion before, but I'll say it again. I think that they should have cast a man in drag in season 1, and they should have cast a woman in season 2 to really make the transition of what happens after she eats the slip fruit more extreme. I just don't think it read the way that they wanted it to read and the way that the dialogue told us that we should be reading it. I just don't think it got there. And that's, again, not the actor's fault. I think it is everything else.
It's not to take away from anything that the actor did to
Correct.
prepare for the role, because they did an amazing job. She did an incredible job.
She did what she could with what she...
Yeah.
And she put in a lot of effort, and I totally appreciate that all. Again, it's just from a pure, like, viewer standpoint.
You're right, though. If you watch the anime and you look at Alvita, it's like that...
Yeah. It's like a much more extreme transformation.
Unfortunately, she's hot in the first season, so like I don't know what to tell you about this. She gets hot in the second season.
Her powers. I just think they could have made it look better, and I don't have a lot of specific answers for how they could have done that. But it seemed like at the end of the day, it seemed like a pretty lame power. She was still handled pretty easily at the end of with the staff and the Pepper. Situation with Usopp and Nami, pretty ingenious. Nice to have that Pepper come back, but it's like that kind of put Alvita in a pack right away. And I was wondering as well, she's got the slip fruit, but she has no problem like grabbing stuff. Like she can still grab her mace, but stuff can't hit her. I'm just if we split hairs on exactly what the slip fruit does, it's like to me. It might be hard to even put on clothes. I just don't know where the line is drawn on the stuff being slippery off your body, It seems like
it's so slippery.
It almost seems like a King Midas situation where that could get out of hand, everything starts slipping off you.
I feel... Okay, I don't want to give it... A lot of it has to do with the imagination or the will of the person. And this is one of those things where it is technically what I believe to be holes in the story. You're right. But then Oda has gone back and been like, well, this is the reason behind that. Like in those question answer things, you can always write yourself.
Sure. I mean, there's always ways you can go back and have it, actually have an answer. That's one of the fun things about this is a lot of times on the podcast, I'll ask these questions. And someone will have an answer. Like someone will say,
a lot of times people will be like,
why. And I love that. Keep that coming.
And when in the beginning, when we're talking about it, a couple of times you called me our resident expert. That makes me very uncomfortable because as much as I do know, I've forgotten a lot. And there are people who spend pretty much all of their time looking at One Piece content. And I do not have the knowledge of one of those people. I'm going to forget his name. I have to read it off the thing every single time. The gentleman who corrected me before. And that person is there's a lot of people like that who, if you say something, they're like, no, that's not right. Or if you have a question, they're like, I have the answer. In the 100th issue of the question answer with Oda, he said in a response to a question from this person, they have it. It's there.
Exactly.
And a lot of times the information is there to be found. But that's exactly why I'm so mad about the dragon thing, because that information isn't just out there for you to go and find. It's people interpreting things, and they just were like, no, we're going to show you a lot more than anyone's ever shown you. Good.
All right. What's your number 2 demerit?
Number 2 demerit is a pretty general one. I call it the Loguetown Rush. I think they should have done 9 episodes and made Loguetown 2.
Okay.
That I know that it has to do with
more
budgeting.
time in Loguetown.
I know that it's it is. And there were rumors they weren't even going to do Loguetown at all. And
was that a little camera joke that Nami said then? Was that a joke to the
Yeah.
audience because Nami was like, I bet you didn't think we were going to go to, or she said something to
Yeah.
Usopp, but I
There
felt
was
like
like
it
a
might be directed at the audience. And it was,
yeah, there was a time like the thing is they were
you
recording
didn't think we were going
Logetown.
to Loguetown, or you didn't think we were
Yeah,
stopping Loguetown, did you?
there was a rumor on the internet for a while where but ultimately I just think they should have spent more time. I
Yeah.
already talked about the Usopp thing, but there's so many small like Logetown. Like an important part is Luffy goes to the bar that they're in at the end,
Yeah, the
right?
Gold Roger bar.
And he like has another experience where people are like, "Oh, you like old," you know what I mean? There are like little bits of added information that I feel like we could have just spent more time there. Logetown is so interesting, and I also really like Smoker. And there's like a lot of you have to get a sea stone cuff key to get Luffy out of the sea stone cuffs. There's a lot of things that didn't happen.
Yeah.
And then they added stuff like having Bartolomeo in it, who's not like in the anime when they're in Loguetown initially. He is part of a flashback because he is in Loguetown technically, but he doesn't interact with any of the Straw Hats. But he does in the anime, and it's like, or in the live action. And I don't know. You added a character that's technically there and had scenes with him, but then you took out scenes that exist that could have, like the Daddy Masterson scenes, that you could have given like a little bit of time to one of our main characters instead of. I suppose we needed a way to get Luffy to the platform or whatever, if Bartolomeo was your vehicle, you could have made it any character that already existed that was in Loguetown at the time. And
Yeah.
there's stuff that happened. I just wish that they didn't. I wish that there was an infinite amount of money that they could just use.
Yeah,
and
I think
spend.
I absolutely think that, I do also wish that the seasons were a little bit longer, even to, like you said, 9-10 episodes. I think it would have made a big difference. I also, not to talk about it too much here, but I think that this show could have benefited from a more metered release schedule. I know Netflix likes to do the binge drop. I really think that this would have benefited from 2 at a time or something like that. Like, just give us, 1 and 2, give us 3 and 4. Just let us talk about this and like live in it for a month instead of dropping it all and then it's kind of gone. We're going to still talk about it, but I'm just saying that, it's out and then it's kind of over. And now we're just waiting for, a year and change until the next stuff comes out.
And the release schedule for the anime has changed drastically in this last year because the anime has run as a single season up until this last year. And now the anime is technically on its second season because they have switched it from just producing it weekly to producing it seasonally. And I think it's going to be 24 episodes in a season now. So instead of getting weeklies with breaks for, different myriad of things, either like catching up with the manga. So we're going to, it's a whole different thing. So now the people who normally would get a weekly dose of One Piece, either by way of manga or by way of the anime, are now in this place where the breaks are getting longer and longer. And with Oda doing all of these different things with the live action, and I mean, there's so many different releases. You got to consider that he's going to Lego and talking to the Lego people. We talked about he's consulting with the live action. He's consulting with WIT. He's still talking with the Toei Animation Studios. He's a busy man. So, and he's still drawing. And it takes him time. There's delays in the manga all the time. And he could get burnt out too. So the fandom is scrounging for more One Piece content. We've needed it. And you're right, Jackie. You should slow drip it because I think the fandom can handle it.
All right, so was that your number two?
That's my number two.
My number two is, and I understand that this is just like part of what Luffy does, okay? I get it. I'm not saying that this was a bad choice of them to put it in the show. I'm just saying Luffy as a person, you got to stop punching the whale, all right? You got to, like, your first instinct can't be to just punch the whale. They're going down the hill, and the whale's in the way. Luffy's first instinct is to punch the whale, which causes basically him to be the only person who doesn't get eaten by the whale, first off.
Yep.
And then, later on, he jumps down to Laboon's eye level, and his first instinct is to punch him in the eye right away. And that doesn't do anybody any good. I mean, it didn't impact Laboon at all. It was probably like getting a little dust in your eye. It didn't seem to affect him whatsoever.
Fight in the anime. They fight. Yeah.
I kind of wanted Laboon to land a few back, you know?
It's kind of funny. Well, I mean, it's fun. Laboon is like my number, like, it's like a specific thing about Laboon, but that's my number one demerit. So it's funny that yours.
You can talk about it here if you want. Both of my 1 and 2 are, you know, in a similar time space. But really quickly, back on number 2 as well. Also against Luffy, you know, after he sings to Laboon, that's great. Everybody has good feelings, and Laboon lets everybody go. And it seems like talking at him, people it makes him understand somehow. He can understand English or something, whatever. But basically, it's like, now you're part of the gang, Laboon. Hey, Crocus, you got any paint? He paints him. I mean, I really hope that in this world, it's not a lead-based paint or something. Like, can you imagine Laboon getting like blood poisoning because some stupid pirate
bashing his head,
paints his head? He's got all these open scars on his head, and he just goes in with paint. And yeah, I just think Luffy maybe. I don't believe that he's an animal hater, but I think he maybe, you know, needed to hold a few more animals, have a little bit more animal experience.
I gotta tell you, Jackie, it's like exactly Kobe, the opposite. He spent a lot of time with animals.
He punched him in the eye.
Which is why he punches them a lot.
Oh, man.
Yeah. Specifically wild animals. That's why he punches first and asks questions later.
All right, go to your number one.
My number one is, I have it labeled as Laboon Not Truman Show. Now, this is another nitpick about like anime versus. So when the Straw Hat crew gets separated and Luffy punches Laboon and then the ship goes in the mouth, the inside of Laboon is like another ocean, and there's an island in it where Crocus is. Crocus lives inside of Laboon.
Oh, in the anime?
In the anime.
And so he's inside the whale. Okay.
Yeah.
So Laboon is massive.
Massive.
In the anime.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And so the ship's in there, and they're trying to find a way to get out. Same sort of thing, but instead of Luffy being the one talking to Crocus, it's the other group. And there's like a hatch, and the reason he's in there is because the same reason he keeps bashing his head and he promised the Rumbar Pirates, all that stuff is the same, but it's like he has to take care of Laboon from inside of him because he's like destroying himself. It's they end up getting out all the same stuff, but it's like, because Crocus isn't inside of Laboon, they miss a couple of scenes and a couple of gags, and then they also miss the fact that Luffy and Laboon like fight, and it's hard to explain because I like what they did with him singing the song to him. It was a good flip on it, but like what happens in the anime is that Luffy fights Laboon hard, like they're fighting, and Luffy comes up to Laboon and is like, I promise that I'm going to come back and fight you again. Because his crew's gotten out by that. He's like, I'm going to come back. We haven't finished this fight. This isn't over. You know that I'm here to, because I'm here to punch first and ask questions later.
Yeah.
I'm promising you that I'm going to come back and we're going to fight, right? And that's why he paints the thing on. He's like,
okay,
this is a
so
promise.
completely
to you.
different intention.
Yeah, it's like but at the same time, it's like, yeah, he is marking him as one of the crew too. But it's like, it's a promise to come back and finish what they've started. And in the same way that the Rumbar Pirates are like, we're coming back to get you. Which is not exactly, they're like, we're painting you and you're part of the crew, you're going to be with us always. No, it's like, I'm promising I'm coming back to you. I am going
he's a marked man.
Yeah, I'm fighting you again. We're coming back, and we're finishing what we started here, but we have to go on our journey now. And I do like that they did the Bink Sake thing where they were, Binks' brew, I'm sorry, is what it doesn't matter. They did a good job with the song, and I like how they interconnected it all. But boy, it fits more with Luffy's character, where he's just like, I'm sort of a fighty boy, and I'm gonna fight you. And they did add a fun little thing. He does a bit of a dance that I think people will recognize when he's singing the song. I think people will enjoy. But ultimately, I think the way that they come. Like the Laboon finish is better if they're inside of Laboon, and then he doesn't have Crocus to like talk him through how to get Laboon to do stuff, whatever. It's like it's him and a whale. It's Luffy and the whale figuring it out. He doesn't have any.
It's interesting.
It's cool.
I never would have known.
It's a little bit of different, and like at the end, they do like a cheeky thing where. It's like Crocus says, if things ever get really bad, I'll consider moving into the whale. It's because they say it's big enough you could live in there. And then it's like, if I ever, it's like,
so it's a little wink, probably.
But I also think the reason they did it was because they wanted a through line to Baroque works, and they wanted to introduce Wednesday and 9 earlier.
It could be, and my number one is all about. A lot of the logistics and specifics of this whole situation with Crocus, kind of, completely separate from what you're talking about, because obviously I didn't have that context.
Right, yeah.
I really, the funny thing is, I really enjoyed the performance of Crocus, the acting, the guy,
He was great.
It's good to have another Scotsman on the screen. He was great, but listen, from just a character standpoint of, what this guy is doing, he's got a terrible bedside manner. For 50 years, his solution to this is shooting these massive syringes into the whale.
Yeah.
He said at one point that he mixes up that concoction 20 times a day.
20 times, yeah.
So immediately, the logistics of this just seem a little bit ridiculous. So you're telling me, even if, let's say he needs to do it 20 times to create a single syringe or maybe 2 syringes, still, that's 2 syringes a day for 50 years. You do the math on that. He says that it's hard enough to get a door repairman when Luffy breaks through the door. Well, how hard is it to get, like, 1 million syringes so that you can shoot this whale 20 times a day or however many times? It doesn't matter. You're definitely doing it at least once a day, and even if it is once a day, 365 days a year, I assume, maybe days, and years are different in this world. I have no idea. But I just wondered, it's just if you pull the thread on that,
calendars.
There's a problem, don't you see, with where is he keeping all these syringes? Is that the other piece of the lighthouse? Does he have a chamber down below in the cliffs? Is he just constantly getting trucks over there?
Is he recycling them?
They'd have to come from that side of the red line because, people aren't getting over the reverse mountain every time he needs a syringe. So he's got to have a local provider. Apparently they don't know anything about doors, but these massive syringes, they got no problem getting them to Crocus. And then another thing is apparently blood types and astrology signs are all the same in this world. He's got AB blood type
Oh,
and he's a Gemini.
yeah,
So I assume that
makes
was not in
sense.
the anime.
No,
What is going on with that? Why did they do
I
that?
don't know. I think it was just a joke.
It's a joke, but it's like we're in a fantasy world. They don't have blood types.
You don't know that. AB could stand for
You know what? You know what I bet happened,
already
Tyler?
blood.
Is the snails can tell the blood type. The snails
Oh,
are telling the
yeah.
blood type, and the snails know
The
all
blood-
the astrology signs.
The blood spawner snails.
All right, let's get out. Oh, actually, you know what? I do got to bang through some honorable mention demerits really
Honorable
quick. We're not going to
demerits?
talk about these too much, but yeah, dishonorable mentions, I suppose. So we kind of mentioned you had a double Deus Ex Machina in the first one. I hope that some of this will be explained, but the lightning plus dragon kind of swooping in, it's like, how many times is Luffy just going to get the luck of the draw? And it's almost like, you know, it's not his own merit. It's just kind of like the other forces of nature carrying him through these situations at times. Luffy not seeing the Gold Roger picture in Crocus's house was kind of nuts to me. Because we know he's a little bit of a fanboy because of how hard he was looking for the platform.
Yeah.
So I get that his awareness is like a level 0 in general, but if you look around, you can see it in the background, you know, earlier in the episode.
Yeah, it's there.
Yeah. Yeah, we talked about just the technology. We don't need to. Oh, and just one more thing, and we don't need to belabor this because my wife assured me that there is an answer, so you don't need to tell me. I don't need to know until I need to know, but I just had a question of why can't the pirates get through the Calm Belt while the Marines can? Why can't the pirates steal the technology? What is it about the Marines that allows them to do it, and why can't anybody else do it?
Yeah, that is explained.
Great. The violin technique is nuts. We said that. The snails we've talked about. And another big thing is, how does anyone hear anything in this Laboon sequence? You got Crocus up on the top of the cliffs. Luffy is down like all the way like hundreds of yards away. Laboon is there. When he's singing, how does Laboon even hear him? You know, from the air to the water.
Underwater.
Down into the water. It's just a lot of that was like, how is anybody knowing what's going on? Like, Crocus has a single tear going down his face, but like, if you put yourself in Crocus's shoes, he's like looking. He probably can't even see that good. He's like a 90-year-old man, like looking down. Like, how is he?
Those are my two favorite blurs.
So that's all I had. Let's get to the fights, and
and
let's kind of rattle through these fights.
We're gonna rattle through them. We don't have a lot of. Honestly, the fights aren't nearly as
Yeah, I think it's mostly just the order, and the honorable mention that I had was fighting the current up Reverse Mountain. So that didn't make my official list, but
I guess
I
that
put it.
counts.
It's like a fight against the forces of gravity. My number 5 was Inside Laboon. 9 and Wednesday, just the little skirmishes that are there.
Well, I had Sanji versus 9 as 5,
okay.
And then I had Nami versus Miss Wednesday as 4.
Yeah. Okay. So you kind of combined those. I had those, or I combined it into my number 5.
Yeah,
so we can talk about both of those. So your 5 was with 9, breaks out the baseball
I liked
bats.
it. A lot of good choreography, wire work, but ultimately it went down one because half of it is like sound stuff because like it's from Usopp's perspective under them and it's like and you hear like a bunch of movement above them and then he falls through the floor. It's cool, but like it's theater of the mind. And but I gotta put Taz Skylar in because boy does he look good doing all those
kicks. He has some good moments. Like he didn't have like any big show-stopping like wins, but just when he's getting busy, when he's like doing his stuff, like
he moves so good.
Yeah, and he's like a bigger guy, and like the way that he's able to kind of get around is impressive. The way that just his different spins and various things that he's doing. It makes me think that maybe I could do some of those moves someday.
Not me. I don't think maybe you could. I don't think I could do it.
Just break out those moves at one of the gigs. Okay, so then we got Wednesday was your number
Yeah,
4?
the yo-yo blades, and
Yeah, yo-yo
there's
blades.
a really cool move that Nami does where she like does the retractable pull into the ground and she like pops up. It's really well choreographed too. I think it's good to see a Straw Hat lose.
Yeah, and but not for long because of course
Not for long, right?
they come in with 9. 9 doesn't get a lot of W's, and we'll talk more about
No.
9 in the days to come. But yeah, 9 for all his confidence is doesn't get it done too good. You know?
No, but I really like the actor though. He does a really good job.
Yeah, I do as well. I it's how can you
Yeah.
not smile at a man wearing a crown with 2 aluminum baseball bats as weapons? Wednesday, phenomenal. I just love I love that as well. It's not a long sequence, but it's a different style than any of the fighting that we've seen, and seems that's probably I'd rather fight the guy with the baseball bats than the girl slinging around these sharp little hot locket looking things.
Yeah, reminds me of Go-Go from Kill Bill, the one with this. It's like, I would much rather fight 100 of those guys with swords than one Go-Go.
Exactly.
Thank you.
All right, my number 4 was the Marine Massacre.
I didn't count that as a fight.
Quite a lot of arms you have. I wrote down. And we talked about that.
Yeah, I didn't count that as a fight because I
front.
didn't consider that a fight because no one put up one.
They tried. They tried to hold the line at all costs, and didn't happen for them. We can move on. We talked about that a lot.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
You go. Yeah, you go.
All right, I'll go. My number 3 is Loguetown Tashigi versus Zoro. Tashigi.
So is mine.
Okay, so Tashigi's massively overconfident. I love how she's critiquing his technique while she's getting absolutely schooled.
Yeah, and she said it's fun because she says the same thing that Kuina used to say, dropping your elbow.
That as well.
And then he immediately gets like furious and like takes the sword out of her hand and is like, no. It's
like, all right, we're done now.
You don't get
playing
to
around.
talk to me like that.
He was fighting. He was single swording it, and he was using the Wado Ichimonji, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he was mainly like doing it out of his sheath, and he never like fully unsheathed the sword until he's
mad. Got a lot of his style is very like light side Jedi, where it's like mostly counter moves and defensive, parries and that kind of thing. And he obviously wasn't intending on landing a blow.
Yeah, not with her.
Yeah.
Sooner or later, he starts naming his moves, and they get scary.
Oh, I can't wait. He spares her life. She's as she's pinned to the wall. Yeah, she calls him a brute. She's pinned to the wall, and as he's walking away, she's saying how he's not worthy to carry any swords and all this stuff. It's like, know when you just got beaten. Like, just shut your mouth.
Yeah, I think she was trying to get, like, my interpretation of that has always been she's trying to get him to kill her. In the same way that,
it's like an honor
Zoro,
thing.
Yeah, it's like Zoro's like how he like held himself. I was like, why don't you move back? It's like, because if I move back, my dream's gone. It's like Tashigi's like, I lost in a sword fight, and he didn't kill me.
Yeah, it's like, where do I go from here?
What do I do?
Yeah,
it's so embarrassing.
Yeah, so I enjoyed that. I think it was because I think they played the Tashigi Zoro thing, just the way that it progressed through that episode, I think was very well handled. And I enjoyed that. And that they're going to meet down the line. And it'll be different.
Oh, yeah. They'll meet again.
All right. What's your number? Okay, that was your 3, right?
No when. That was 3. My number 2.
Yeah, what's your number 2?
Is the Buggy Alvida Alliance versus the Straw Hats.
That's my number 1, but my 1 and 2 probably could be interchangeable. So let's just talk about that now. Yeah. So Alvida Bugly.
He would get mad at you too.
I just can't do it. Alvida Buggy versus the Straw Hats. Zorro immediately takes down Kabaji, the guy with the throwing
Yeah.
knives. I thought that was hilarious. He's like,
They make quick work of basically everybody except for Alvida.
but it's just Kabaji builds up like this is gonna be a big rematch.
Finally,
Finally, this is my chance to go back at Zorro, take him down, and Zorro just immediately handles him with no time at all. Cuts off his knife belt immediately. He got no weapons anymore. So that was funny. Nice combo from Usopp and Nami on Alvida. Like we said before, she plants a staff in the ground and he shoots the pepper ball at it. And that sends Alvida skating back. Sanji getting busy. We kind of talked about that, but he's getting busy in this one. And you got that intercut with as the crew is kind of fighting all the cronies. You got Buggy and Luffy up on the platform. I liked when Usopp took a guy down on the kind of test your strength hammer thing, and the guy falls on it. That's just a nice.
It hits the bell. Yeah.
I think maybe they could have even done a few more of those. Where they
just had
dispatch
3 more people fall on the.
Well, no, not on that one specifically, but I mean, that now that you say that, that's not a bad idea.
I was like, that's a really good idea.
But I was just thinking different carnival games, one guy,
that sounds like one of our
on a ring toss.
It sounds like something we'd make. The bell, just keep hitting the bell over.
And then you also have something that we didn't talk about, but in the context of this fight, Smoke is kind of watching on. And Luffy does his whole Gold Roger parallel psycho laugh thing.
Yeah.
And Smoke is like, that smile.
That laugh.
He's laughing. He's laughing.
No.
He looked death in the face, and he's laughing.
He's laughing at it.
Anything else about
I just think it was cool. I thought Zorro everybody kind of Nami proves she's a fighter. Zorro shows that he's a dominant swordsman. Usopp does a clever little move that sort of shows off.
Usopp is definitely doing more than he was last season.
Yeah. And and Sanji again with the footwork and big man kicking people's heads is insane.
I'm really gonna need a Sanji episode where he just goes bride style Kill Bill sequence on something. It just needs to be more extended. You know what I mean?
I'd pay for that.
Yeah.
My number one is I feel
Smoker.
It's the only other Smoker. Yeah, it's the Smoker fight with Luffy and Sanji, but it's really mainly Luffy.
Yeah, the first thing that I love about when Smoker comes in is you get that squealing electric guitar sound that's kind of when he enters the screen, which is just perfect with his whole vibe. And this is the first time that we actually understand that he is a smoke man. He can turn into smoke. So before that, you're smoke, okay, he's smoking cigars. I get it. That's why he's smoker. It goes way further than that. Sanji tries to kick him. He turns into smoke, and Sanji just kind of falls into a heap. Sanji also takes a big blow, a big white blow, in fact. I like that when he's naming his move, the white blow. And Luffy tries to hit him with the Gum Gum Gatling, and it doesn't do much. He doesn't a lot
do
of
anything.
Punches, 1 punch or 20 punches, doesn't get through the smoke. Once again, I wrote down here, it seems that everybody's clothes just takes on whatever their underlying powers are, which is fine. I'm not going to belabor that. Sanji gets rocked with the white blow, and our guy Smoker puts Luffy in a pack. And that's where our guy Dragon comes in and, says all his great lines. So.
Yeah. And honestly, that the CGI budget for that scene must have been crazy.
Oh, yeah.
The smoke really looks great. It does.
It looks really good. And at one point Luffy's got I don't know how to. He's it's like smoke bondage. He's got him up in the sky. Smoke,
and then he flings him by his
and
feet like he's a rubber band. He flings him. It's
yeah.
Some fun stuff happens in that sequence.
Yeah, and Luffy really didn't have a response, no strategy or
there's
ability
nothing he could
do anything about it.
He literally throws a tantrum on the ground. He starts screaming and growling like an animal. He's like, I can't get up.
Yeah, so we kind of see, Smoker, and then we find out later that Smoker's weapon and I did not write down what his weapon is. It's like some kind of an axe thing, but it's got
I don't know what it's called.
It's got sea stone on it, so that's important.
But only at the tip, so he can like hold it and then he like touches it to somebody.
So that's actually something that I didn't realize. So all the devil fruit powers, the sea stone is like the kryptonite.
Correct.
Because I wasn't sure if it wasn't just Luffy's version. He's allergic to the sea stone, but Smoker,
it's everyone.
There's a smoke stone, and that's the one.
No.
Okay,
no,
so
sea
it's
stone.
Sea stone across
if Smoker
the board.
if somebody were to take Smoker's weapon from him and then use it against him, it would work on him.
You know what they should have done is there should have been a stone in the middle of the devil fruit, and that should have been the kryptonite, like a stone fruit, like a peach. It's like the pin
we
of
love
it
a good stone fruit here.
Because then it would make sense. It's like, why are these fruits and these stones, tied in that way?
I kept cutting the slices of peaches too big, and they were so juicy.
These juicy peaches. Get them out of here. All right, let's go on to the awards. So we got our Strangers in the Night award for the best featured player. Could be a cameo. Could just be someone popped up for a hot second and then went away. There's a lot of directions you can go with this, but basically not a main actor, not a main character, but someone that you like seeing on the screen. Who do you go for?
Oh, the answer for me can only be one man, and it's the violin player of the Rumbar Pirates.
I'm glad
with that beautiful voice and that yo ho 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 ho.
Yeah, I also had the Rumbar violin player who is unnamed, and we don't know who this guy is.
Unnamed, and no one knows who it is. And if
nobody
you ask
on the internet
we couldn't
knows who this guy is, and nobody was mad about it.
I bet you if you typed it into Google, no one was mad. No one was mad.
No one was mad about it in bad faith.
Yeah, no one said really hurtful things about the man. Who has a wonderful voice and did a really good job, and I don't understand.
No, I completely agree. I think it's the clearest answer to me. So we don't need to belabor it. We both agree on that.
And again, I'm gonna say his name because he deserves Marshall T. Bachman. I hope that's your singing voice and all that stuff because I can't wait for you to come back.
Absolutely. All right, the Me and My Shadow Award for the best brothers, sisters, or companions. We've had to widen this category because it started off just as best brothers, but there's not a lot of.
I think we might
have to just call media,
it best pair. We might just call it best pair from now on.
Okay,
best pair. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but then people might be thinking on fruit. We're talking about all these devil fruits.
As long as it's not a stone fruit, Jackie.
All right, who is yours? I have actually 3 written down, and it was really hard for me to choose, but I think I know my choice, but you go first.
Well, I have 2 pairs of people that I could have gone with, but I chose the 2 that I feel like interacted together more as a duo, and it's Mr. 5 and Miss Valentine.
Interesting. Okay, that wasn't even one I had, so yeah, that's a good one.
My other one was Wednesday and Mr. 9. Mm-hmm. But realistically, I'm thinking about later episodes where they have an
I was trying to constrain it to these 2 and that
2 episodes. I didn't want it to filter, but I like their partnership. They're like badass lady steps on the thing, her badass partner walks up, and they're just like, "We do this every day."
Yep. Yeah.
This is every day for us.
Yeah, this is before you see kind of any vulnerability or weakness in them.
Yeah.
So the ones I had 9 and Wednesday. I had Tashigi and Smoker. And then I had Kobe and Helmeppo because, they pop up.
Yeah, because they were there.
I see them.
I wanted to avoid it because I pick them every time.
Yeah, but if they weren't playing that little ship game, I wouldn't have even put them on the list. But it's like, they're playing a nice little, ship ping pong ball, cannon game. I don't know what to say. I want to play that game.
But then anyone who listens to our podcast would every time be like, anytime Kobe's on the screen, Tyler's just going to pick Kobe.
No, I don't.
Which isn't wrong.
The one that wins for me is 9 and Wednesday. Kind of an odd couple, but it's fun. It's just fun to hang out with those 2. They're like supposedly bad guys, but you can't be too mad at a guy with a crown and a woman with blue hair slinging those things around. All right, chairman
The
of the board.
yo-yos. Slinging yo-yos around.
You don't need to clarify.
God. I did.
Slinging those things. Chairman of the board, Tyler.
There's only one chairman in these 2 episodes,
I can't wait to hear.
And he's that motorcycle, aquatic motorcycle driving, Americana sort of forward
You done
captain.
it.
The
He should have just
smoker,
had,
Jackie.
if they're talking about blood types and astrological signs, I think just put an American flag on the back of that motorcycle while he's coming up. You don't even have to
Might
explain
as well.
it. I also have
And he's
Smoker.
like,
Smoker's the
"It's
obvious
the
winner
answer.
of these
He's
2
the obvious
episodes.
winner."
And even more so because you know that this is the most Smoker that we're going to get in the season.
Yeah.
And so you got to give it to him, for this little run that he went on.
He really stuns for the time that he's on the screen. He makes
Yeah.
you seem you make him he's a hard ass, but he's sort of got a heart of gold,
Yep.
and he's got Tashigi under his wing, and you like Tashigi. You see the connection with her and Zoro, even though like she is sort of offensive to him later, or offended by him later. At the beginning, they're like, oh, we're 2 sword people who are like, you are more on like the sword, like the actual swords and how they're made, and I'm more about swinging them around. But we connect, and then, we're at odds, but she's got a good mentor,
Yeah.
just like Zoro did.
Yep. And he's not a bad manager at the end of the day. Like,
Yeah.
he really surprises you through the run of episodes, just like how layered he is compared to your first impression, where it's like, wow, this guy means business.
And I think generally among Marines, I think he is more layered. Like later down the line, the higher ranked Marines have a lot of depth to them. But like in the ones we've met so far, you're like, oh wow, pretty one note, unless you're talking about the Kobes and the Gops. And it's like, not Smoker. You found out that, there's another guy who's kind of like more than he seems. Maybe a little tricky. Who knows?
So there it is. There's our awards for these 2 episodes. So next week, Tyler, we're going to be going to Whiskey Peak, I believe.
Oh, yeah, it's Whiskey Peak time.
Yeah, we're focusing all on Whiskey Peak. And is that just episode 3?
Yeah, it's just 1 episode, but there's a lot of stuff
going
there.
on. There might not be 5 fights, but, we could probably break up that fight
there
into
are
about
5
20
fights.
billion, little mini fights within it.
Well, technically, I just read an interview with Makenu, and he's like, there are actually exactly 100 people that he interacts with the 100 Baroque agents, because
Yep.
like he's like, they say it, and I know that the fans are going to rewatch this 100 times.
Yeah, my wife was counting
count.
as he was going. Absolutely.
Really?
Yeah.
See, this is so funny. I didn't do that, even though I was like, oh, is it going to be 100? And he is counting along, sort of.
Yep.
It's not only is it 100, it's exactly 100, which is the funny part.
So we'll get into all of that with Whiskey Peak next week.
Whiskey Peak.
And of course, we're going to go through all of the arcs. So we're going to do Whiskey Peak the week after that. We're going to do the Little Garden, and then we're going to end with everything that happens on Drum Island. So we're doing 2 episodes here, 1 episode there. We're doing it more in the arcs, okay? We're not just going to do 2 episodes, 2 episodes, 2
We're doing
episodes.
it the right way, folks.
Yeah.
We're doing it by arc. We're not doing it by episode. People get pissed off when you do it by episode.
Yeah, people get really mad.
They get mad.
Just like me, anytime I think about these snails and all the different, technology involved with these.
He gets furious about
snails.
transponder snails.
Don't even get me started again, okay?
Well, Jackie, what are you going to rank these first 2 episodes?
Oh, I'm not going to do I'm not going to rank, and I don't think we should
You're not
rank
gonna
until we
rank
get
them.
to the end of the season, okay?
Okay, we're going to rank the
just-
season, Jackie.
Just withhold your rankings until we get through all the episodes, and then we'll give our final ranking, or not ranking,
Well,
but more
fine.
of a rating, right? A rating at the end of the season. Out of 5
Rating.
Franks.
Out of 5. I
If
like to say rank
I'll give you
because
my
Frank,
soft rating right now. So, seeing these 2 episodes, I'm at a strong 4 right now.
I am at a soft 4, Jackie. A soft
There you go.
4. I wanted to see a little more, but that's where I'm thinking where it's heading.
I think the Ice Cream Child and Alvita really set us back, and that's why we can't get to a 5.
Well, you know what, Jackie? The important thing is you get more scoops next time.
That's true. That's a life lesson, folks. And that's why we thank you for listening to the Brother Sinatra podcast. I'm Jack Sinatra.
And I'm Tyler Sinatra.
And we're the Brothers Sinatra. See you next time.
See ya, bye.